Hey there peoples, I'm the Motorcycle Mick, and today we are working on slimming down the front end of the Heritage. Harley did a good job by selecting a factory fender for this bike, but for me, I want the bike to look super clean and slimmed down. That's what I've been doing with the rest of the bike. A couple weeks ago you saw me install this Klock Werks windshield, and we're working on another Klock Werks part today. Before I get into that, if you do like my content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon to be notified when I upload. Also leave a big thumbs up on the video. I upload new videos every Tuesday around 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And I do a live stream, including the person that's holding the camera right now, the Norseman. He's hiding. Go around and say hi. He has been my camera buddy in these videos lately and really doing a great job. So I really appreciate all that, and we're also back at his garage where we're getting this stuff done. But like I said, we're working on slimming down the Heritage today. When I looked at getting some work done to this fender to really clean it up, kind of give it that touring model fender, I guess, kind of like what's over there on the Norseman's Road King, you can notice that it's very clean, very cleaned up, and looks super nice. And then you come back over here, and Harley decided to add a bunch of chrome shit to it that's plastic, metal, stuck on with little stuff I don't like. So instead of having this removed and getting the holes filled in and getting the whole fender repainted, I found a better solution, and that is this, a Klock Werks Slicer Fender. Now this thing is beautiful, it's awesome, and it's one of their wraparound fenders for the Softail models. Actually, they have them for the touring models and for Sportsters. So if you got a bike that's a Harley and you want to put a fender on it, they got you covered. So go get one. Go. I'll wait. This just came back from paint. It's so beautiful. The guys that pulled this off are over at Creative Autosports and Restoration over in Waterford, Michigan, and they did it awesomely. Like, the paint on this thing and the turnaround was amazing. I'll drop a link below for it. But we have the fender out, the Slicer fender. This thing is amazing. It's gonna look awesome with the whole setup I have going on and really clean up the front end of the Heritage and give it a nice look. Once I get done wiping this down, which I don't know why I keep doing, it's just so smooth and I wanna make sure it looks pretty, we're gonna jump into it right now. So to get this going, I'd like to point out first, it takes a real man to work on your motorcycle in shorts and Crocs. It's a real way to do it. If you haven't been on my channel before, this is the Norseman. He is my personalized mechanic that loves working on my bike as much as I do. We're gonna start by removing these two bolts on each side. So what you see here, there's bolts on each side that hold your fender on. It's actually quite simple. It's a 1/4 inch hex bit.
And the biggest thing is when you are loosening these, you can take the one off, don't take the other one off because the fender will go boom, then you're gonna be fighting the other side. So I like to leave a little bit of threads in so I can at least reach it, and I'll take the front one off.
We got these two undone. We're gonna turn the forks and get going on the other side. The Klock Werks fender comes beautifully e-coated, so it's ready for paint. It's not gonna be anything you're gonna have to go in and get something sand blasted and then primered and everything like that. Again, the fenders come e-coated, and the nice part about that, it makes it a lot easier for a paint shop and also helps you on cost. Everything's about cost, and the less you have to spend to get something done, the better. So Klock Werks had the hindsight to think about that. Every fender you get is pressed fender and comes e-coated and takes all that hassle out of there, which really makes it worth it to get painted. When you're removing the fender real quick though, is you want to make sure that as you pull it out, you're rotating it forward, so you're not going to damage anything on your old fender. You also might be removing your front fender for whatever reason you're doing. You want to make sure you roll it out, and then with these ones you kind of depress in the edges because they flare out at the bottom. So something that we're doing right now is to protect the new fender is to take and put blue painter's tape along the edges so it's well protected. As you're installing it, it's something that can be easily removed, but we're just going to leave that little spot above the two bolt holes uncovered. Kind of test with this thing a little bit, and it hugs super tight to the tire, so it's gonna look awesome. Well, we'll get back to you guys once we're putting the fender on the bike. Oh, just to show you guys real quick, this is what the Harley quality paint job was doing. It was corroding and peeling. I know you can hear that. So Klock Werks always sends you a hardware kit for your motorcycle. It's gonna have everything you need to mount it on there. Your factory stuff isn't gonna work because inside the fenders they have those nut plates in there. The new one doesn't, so they're gonna send you the hardware and everything you need to get the fender mounted on the motorcycle. What the Norseman did is he actually took and painted my hardware in order to keep the bike more blacked out on the front end. Instead of having the chrome heads on there, what he did is he blacked them out. He does stuff surprise me all the time. It's so nice. I gotta take him out to dinner sometime. But we've got Loctite that's been sitting on there, and we want to make sure that that Loctite's going to hold it on because the new ones have nuts that are going to go on the back of it in order to hold on there, and you want to make sure those nuts don't come loose. So make sure you use Loctite, very important. The way the hardware goes in there is with the bolt and the washer behind it. That's what's going to be going into the holes for your fender. And see, the Norseman just walked in with the fender, like again, we said before, we're gonna roll the fender into place. So you just don't jam it in there, you roll it into place. Now, like I said, this is a Hugger fender, so this thing's gonna be riding on the tire. And then we have our fender spacers. These are machined aluminum, we painted them black. What these do is they go on the inside, but on the outside of your fender. And what that does is helps keep your fender centered on the tire and wheel itself to keep from moving around or having it cockeyed. When these sit so close to the tires, you wanna make sure everything is lined up perfectly. And everything's not lined up perfectly, you can get rubbing, you might be able to rip your fender. No one wants to destroy a brand new fender on their motorcycle. So that's what's gotta go in there, in between the forks and the fender itself. Hang on while we get this put on, and we'll show you guys the end once we get done. Now my favorite part. We get to release the tape off of there, and I'm super excited to be able to do that as he's jumping ahead of me and see how this turned out. So now that we have the fender on, what we're doing right now is we're gonna check for clearances to make sure that there's no spots at all that's rubbing. Now what you can do is use your fingers and you can feel that, but the thing is that you're not gonna feel inside underneath the fender where it's very important. That's the area you're not gonna be able to reach with just your bare finger. What we're gonna be doing is using a very high-tech tool called matchbook to check and make sure that the clearances between the tire and the fender are where they need to be. So this is my factory fender. This is one you guys have all seen. It's one we just took off. Well, this is a lot bigger. So this new fender is a lot smaller and a lot lighter. But also something to point out is right here. Harley's factory fender spreads out at the bottom. It does help with rain and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, it also creates a lot of drag on the motorcycle and the front end, giving you a lot more wind resistance on the front of the bike. Something like a Heritage that already has a windshield on it or a Road King, taking as much weight off the front of the bike, wind resistance is something that's key because you're already gonna feel a little bit because of the windshield. It's not a full fairing, but the Klock Werks ones does it well with the hips and everything on there. I've noticed a huge difference in my riding. This is catching a lot of air. So when you switch to something like this where you're gonna have the least amount of resistance, you're gonna feel a lot less, like, I don't wanna say movement, but I guess resistance on the front of the bike. And that's really gonna be beneficial to you in the end. How's the clearance?
Looks good.
Looks good? Oh, if you didn't notice, he was doing the clearance check in the background. So what we're gonna do here in a second is show you some shots of the bike outside with the new fender on, because she is beautiful and lost some weight. So we got the fender on the bike, looks super sweet, looks super nice. Got the bike all cleaned up. Check out that video next week. I have the video on how we got this shining again. You guys have been watching a while, know that I sometimes wash my motorcycle and the Norseman forced me to do it. Make it look super pretty. But we check out the new fender that's on here. This is the Klock Werks Slicer. This is what you guys saw earlier. It beautifully wraps around the tire. Now something Norseman pointed out was on the back side, he's a man of, what was it you said?
Function over fashion.
Okay, yeah, he said function. You just heard it from him. You heard it from the horse's mouth. That he's a man of function over fashion, but also he is a man of symmetry. So they spaced it out in the back so that the water gets caught and you still get the protection of a regular fender without the big bulk. You guys notice that it slimmed my bike down a lot and it looks beautiful on here. Adds really beautifully with the Klock Werks windshield and everything else I've done to this bike. But it mounted easily. It was perfect. I couldn't be happier. Klock Werks makes some badass parts, really nice stuff. This slicer fender is awesome, really makes the bike pop and makes it look mean. And I couldn't be happier with the way this turned out and the way it looks. I was awestruck, and I've been awestruck the whole day while we've been doing this, and I'm left speechless. This thing is amazing, adds a nice style to the bike. But for now, that's all I got. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, leave a big thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. It's the red one. If it's red, it means you aren't subscribed. Make it gray. Don't forget to hit that bell icon to be notified when I upload my videos. And as always, I hope you have a great day, evening, night, morning, afternoon tea, brunch, lunch, nightcap, midnight snack, crumpet, McGriddle, bacon sandwich. And remember to always ride for freedom. Goodbye. I'm going crazy. Lost inside of my mind, I'm facing my demons.